Joining us now is a man who has a national championship as a college football player at Ohio State and a Super Bowl champion with Green Bay Packers, Mr. A.J. Hawk, and also a man who is currently thrown for
24 touchdowns
and
2 interceptions
in the 2020 NFL season, a man who is, by all accounts, the greatest quarterback of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. Man, that's great.
That never gets old, buddy.
I'm happy we can do that for you. You know, a Tuesday afternoon, kind of a little bit of a lift up, like, hey, bub, how you doing? Great to talk to you. Did you know that stat about how many?
24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
24-2 this year so far. Not a bad year you're having, pal. Maybe, what did we do this weekend after the Thursday night game? Did you watch games this weekend? Did you treat it as a bye week? Did you go camping on your property? What did you do this weekend?
A lot of camping on the property, for sure.
Smart.
Yeah, just zoned out. Just thought a lot about Sting and the music that he makes. How inspiring it is.
Did you watch any games? Like on Sunday, did you have an NFL day like I have where you just kind of watch all the games, or did you kind of come and go?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of Red Zone Channel, and I watched a little bit of the game on Sunday night.
Hey.
That's about it.
Hey, that Sunday night game was riveting, too. Did you dive into that one? Did you see the game 38-3, I believe the Saints took down the Bucs?
Yeah, I saw the final score. It wasn't that entertaining. I know what that feels like a few weeks ago.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Because you were dead a couple weeks ago after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that defense figured out your team. Now you guys are back on the high. After Thursday night, you just had 6 incompletions and had this massive night, 4 touchdowns. How is it? Is it hard to balance a season out of success and failures? Like, for instance, Tom right now, everybody's saying Tampa Bay Buccaneers are dead. They're done for. They've been figured out. Like, how does that change your mindset after having a great game or a terrible game? Or are they the exact same reaction out of you because it's kind of like you have to?
Wow, I mean, I don't know, Pat. I mean, I don't think there's not a major freak out. I know you like to do your overreaction Monday.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does. There's this, the knee-jerk reactions to everything that happened. If you win, it's either how great you are or, like last year we were winning ugly. Everybody kept saying, well, they're winning, but it's just really ugly. And it's just like, I think there's a loss of the understanding of how difficult it is to win in this league. And then there's I think a lack of understanding of how difficult it is to be consistent. There's just so many outside factors and teams that play differently and adjustments that go on, and dealing with success and dealing with frustration and dealing with outside distractions that can affect you week to week. Not to mention injury reports and COVID tests and everything else that we're dealing with week to week. There's a lot of other circumstances that affect performance or can affect performance week to week, and I think that's the beauty in finding consistency in those teams that do. You understand and appreciate how difficult that is. We beat the Saints early in the season. I believe it was week 3, and they haven't lost since then. They've won 5 in a row. So obviously they figured some things out after that, and they've gotten to a great rhythm and got Michael Thomas back, who's a really talented player. But they've obviously, gotten into that groove, and you realize how difficult that is, and I think you have a big respect for teams that can put together win streaks 4, 5, 6, 8. For your boys in Pittsburgh, it's really impressive.
Hey, they're those guys, boys, not mine. I'm on your team, pal.
Oh yeah. Hey, Aaron, do you think having the whole COVID protocols and you guys not being able to go out and about and go on the town, like what usually happens during the week? Friday night's big, I know. After the game, guys want to hang out. Have guys been able to dial in and not have all those distractions?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question, AJ. I think it's a little bit of both. I think there is a lack of distraction on the one hand, but I think it does change the way you get to interact. I mean, there's always over the years been, fun to get-togethers outside the facility, whether it's Halloween stuff or Thanksgiving or Christmas parties or just the Monday night dinners or going out to dinner, offensive line dinners or defensive dinners or position group dinners. There's been some really fun hangouts over the years that become just a standard week to week that you really enjoy. And I think we miss that chemistry, and a lot of people don't give any credence and don't give a shit about chemistry. But I think it's really important Being able to trust the guys that you're playing with and count on those guys and also get to know them and understand what makes them tick and how you can hold them accountable and how you can talk to them when it's going good, to keep them level-headed and talk to them when it's, there's some adversity and you're struggling. I think it's really important to being a good teammate, to being a good leader. Not having that opportunity, I think, is tough for everybody because I don't know that you're seeing as close units as you might in a normal season. And I know last year that was really important for us, especially as our defense and special teams, as Pat loved to point out last year,
Bingo.
carried us at times. We really loved each other. We hung out together. We spent time off the field together. And we're missing that. I really do. I really feel like we're missing those fun opportunities. That's what makes the season, as much as we're 6-2 and first in the North. It hasn't quite had the same type of fun as an entire season because you miss those fun team moments.
First in the North, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I've always said, like, the teams that I was on that were good, it seemed like the team liked each other. Right, like it seemed like the team liked each other. In the teams that I was on that weren't as good, it seemed like the teams didn't like each other enough. And the camaraderie is a pretty big deal. Now, granted, because you're losing, does that mean everybody hates each other? You can kind of go hand in hand there. But how have you been able to build up chemistry with people you didn't know going into the season? Was that the Zoom call? Like, because I heard in the locker rooms you guys aren't even allowed to sit next to each other, right? Like you're not even allowed to, and then you're not allowed to eat together, right? These are critical times in building up trust with each other. Has there been any efforts to try to be creative with that? Or is it just kind of, you got to do what you got to do on the practice field and everything like that?
Well, Pat, you can't really be creative when they're big brother spying on you the whole time.
Hey, did you hear about the Jets? You hear about the Jets?
Yeah.
We can dive into that later. I mean, that's.
They're watching everything, and if there's a lapse in protocol, you can get fined. Obviously, you've seen teams get fined already, and individual coaches and players get fined for breaking protocol. I mean, there's one-person tables in the lunchroom. There's plexiglass or whatever the hell it is between our lockers. We have like offense, defense in the locker room. So I'm not sitting next to, Tim Boyle and getting to shoot the shit with him after a meeting or before or after practice. I mean, I can barely even talk to Warren, who's my locker mate, because there's a partition between us. I have to like lean out over it. And half the time you can't hear what I'm saying, I think. So it definitely puts a strain on that, locker room conversation and camaraderie. I think obviously the proponents of all that say it's necessary to get us to the finish line and to the season. I think there's a lot of questions about, is this, are we doing all this based on science and it's all necessary? And, I mean, there's some interesting conversations to be had down the line about all that. Obviously, we've had a couple positive tests in the last few weeks. That puts you in this protocol to where, now we're wearing masks down at in the weight room, down to practice, have the little shield stuff.
Hold on, can I ask you why you just mentioned that? Because you're not talking about the real world. You're talking about in sports, I think. A.J. Dillon had it for the entire game, played an entire game with it, and nobody else had a positive. Now we're hearing that other people played with it. Vance McDonald, who's sitting next to Ben on the plane and in the locker room, Ben's had a negative test. So I would assume that in the locker room, not just yourself, there's a lot of people going like, okay, so these people literally played an entire day. We didn't have the plexiglass there. Are we doing maybe, let's be safe, but maybe we're overdoing it a bit, and can we adjust that at the time? Because it feels like it's going the opposite direction. It's getting like stricter and stricter as it goes, when it feels like there's an opportunity to potentially lighten that up a little bit inside the confines of the little mobile bubble you guys have.
No, I'm not saying that, Pat. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm not saying that we have to lighten anything up. I'm just wondering, what is this based on? Because, I just think there's some double standards. You can, dap up a guy after the game, but you can't eat at the same lunch table as a teammate. You can go down to practice and hit each other and be in close contact, but you have to have plexiglass between you and the guy next to you in the locker room. I just think some of those things, to me, just don't really add up. Like, I understand what we're trying to do. We're trying to get every game in and stay healthy, but I think just some of those things, and I don't really care about what people's opinions are beside. This is my own opinion about things. I just think that some things make sense, and then some things don't make a whole lot of sense. They said before the season, you can't even talk to anybody after the game, and I'm thinking, well, what do you mean? We just there's spit and sweat and all this stuff, and we're playing a game and we're getting hit and we're tackling, and then we can't go and talk to somebody who we know on the other team. I just, some of those things to me, I think it's, some of it is definitely for the optics of it. Some of it is probably based on science, but it's definitely changed the season for sure.
Hey, how has it changed your? I don't know if you've given much thought to. So Pat's mentioned on the show multiple times, you have a beautiful place out in Malibu.
Oh, it's nice. I saw it. Hey, I took a tour of that thing, a virtual tour. It was like I was in there, Aaron. That place is. I love what you're going to do with that kitchen area right there. It is going to be nice because I was trying to think like if I ever got this. So it's a beautiful place. Sorry, AJ. Go ahead.
Well, no, it's good, Pat. It's what's it called? What's a vacuum? What's it called, Aaron? Your elevator to the beach?
Oh my! I didn't even see that.
Y'all keep talking about it. I'm not going to invite Ty out.
No! Don't you do that! Why would you do it?
Tread lightly, gentlemen.
Okay. All right, we'll back off. Sorry about that.
So
He's got an elevator to the fucking beach. Holy! Sorry, dude. Good for you. You've worked hard. You deserve it. You deserve it. Ty,
It's not a vacuum, by the way. But how do you handle post game? Like I'm watching the Bucs Saints game, and I'm thinking the whole time, like, okay, Drew and Tom Brady find each other, and they're kind of hugging, kind of whispering in each other's ear. And the whole time, I'm like, oh, is the TV going to cut away? Are these guys going to get in trouble? Like, what do we do here? Like, do you have a plan after games?
Most of the time, I don't think about it. I really don't. I just think about going and seeing the quarterback of their team and anybody I might know on that squad. Look, we're at the mercy of this, and a lot of it's out of our control. Now, I think what is in our control is, where we're eating and our habits and our building our immune system and stuff. But if somebody has it and sits next to you, or you're going against them and you get it, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to deal with symptoms or no symptoms. You're going to quarantine for however long, and then you're going to be back and fine. Like that's what we've seen from our teammates and guys across the league. So I don't really think a whole lot about it. I just try and take care of my immune system the best I can, and I enjoy seeing those guys in other teams. So
do you have any?
Shy away from seeing those people.
Do you have any immunity pills? TB12's got some. I didn't know if you had any. Yeah, you should think about maybe getting in that business. I'm sure, but whenever you talk to Tom, okay, and LeBron is maybe the best at this in the world. Anytime he has a conversation, his hand is over it because people are trying to dissect every word that he says. When you go talk to a quarterback after a game like that, I mean, I assume immediately upon arriving in the NFL, you knew that cameras going to be on that. But when you guys are talking, is there a single genuine conversation that happens in there, or is that all bullshit? Like, is there any actual like good to see? Like, what is it all? What is that conversation like?
That's a great question, Pat, and most people probably don't know the real answer. I think it depends on who it is. Okay. I think there's some guys who don't care, and you can have a legit conversation with them. I think some guys where you don't want to say stuff because you're mic'd up. Sometimes you just don't really care. Like if I see, like Ryan Fitzpatrick on the field, who I enjoy and respect, and he's a 05 draft class guy. I've known him for a long time. I think he's an awesome dude. If I saw him, I probably wouldn't care what was said, and just say whatever. If you see other guys, that the mics are probably going to beat you to the spot. So you might not, say exactly what you would say in a normal situation. There's other guys that you've known for a while and you just don't really care, or maybe they don't care. But that if you're running out there to see Tom or Drew or one of those long-term guys, like unless you kind of jog to the middle, it's probably going to be 4 cameras and a couple booms. So I don't think it's the most heartfelt conversation. It's pretty standard, good job, stay healthy, whatever. That's why I enjoy kind of the, either getting out there early or kind of waiting till it dies down and being able to have like a real human conversation with guys that you respect or know on the other team.
You know why the cameras though? Because you guys are the greatest of all time.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's got to be pretty cool to know that. Like, yeah. When I have conversations with other goats, motherfucking cameras trying to get me, dog. That's got to feel pretty good. Good for you.
Hey, what about the guys you don't like, though, Aaron? Has there ever been a game that you've played where you didn't go out and greet the quarterback? I'm not telling you to name names.
Oh, or do.
I would assume you've always found a way, even if you despise the guy with all your heart.
Yeah, I can't think of a game that I haven't had a conversation with the opposing quarterback, and that's every game from the 2009-10 against Favre. When obviously things were a little contentious at that time. To that means just probably every start. I think it's part of the respect level of playing the same position, knowing what you put on the line, and knowing how much preparation it takes, and also class. I think you win with class and you lose with class, and also knowing the camera's on you. So I don't know. I think it's part of the competitive process is doing it with some dignity. So
Tom didn't go out there and dap up Foles. So that's like conversation. So the fact that you said there at the end, and also there's a camera on you, that is a very interesting thing. Have you? I want to talk to you about something that AJ brought up the other day again, and I completely forgot about whenever I first heard this, and it's insane to think about. You guys go into work, okay? You go into work, you do your thing, you watch the film, you study, you do the whole thing. You go in the locker room. This is a Wednesday, Thursday. You put on your shoulder pads, you put on your pants, you get your helmet, okay, you put the eye black on, whatever you need to do, maybe a little war paint, go get the icy hot on the limbs, you do the whole thing. Then you strap up your boots, you get, if you get spatted, you get the ankles taped, you do the whole thing. Then you guys get in a car, you drive down the street, you go to practice, and then you hop in a car after practice and drive back home. Is that real? That happens every single day?
Every single day.
Anything awesome ever? Any batteries die? Anybody need to get jumped? Did you ever? Did the cleats ever mess? Any stories of the transferring? Maybe a new player comes in, locks keys in car somehow, maybe stuck. Is there any situations that have popped up? Because I see this as being a potential logistical nightmare with some humans.
I agree, and I think the greatest accomplishment that we've had in 16 years is nobody has truly gotten hurt on that drive down.
That's good.
To practice. It's I'm sure there's many distractions in the car. There's people walking often, especially at times during training camp after we kind of don't do the bikes anymore. I just think there's big pillars. I think one of our coaches at some point hit one of those. AJ probably can confirm or deny that, but
Yep, he said.
It's pretty amazing that, going down to that little parking lot too by the Don Hudson Center and by Hinkle and Nitschke, our two fields, the fact that we've never really had an incident is amazing. Now, there's been times where guys double park guys and you drive that guy's car back to the stadium just to tell him to not double park again anymore.
Yeah, got to do it.
Or stuff like that's happened, but I don't think we've had any accidents or guys getting bumped in 16 years, and that is an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, I agree. We shipped a car to Montana one time. Just something to think about if it ever pops up. Good ad. Good ad. What do you got, AJ? Sorry about that.
Also, you mentioned Sting earlier. I don't know if you know, Sting's real into this tantric sex thing with his wife for 10, 15 hours at a time. I don't know. Maybe that's why you're listening to his stuff. But
Take it
got me
easy,
thinking.
AJ.
What?
Other than
15 hours at a time?
Come on. What?
15 hours at a time?
That's
Let him
Sting's
talk, bro. Let him talk.
That's Sting's thing, though. You didn't know that, Pat? Sting, I know he's obviously has a beautiful voice, great singer. But yeah, Aaron, I'm sure knows that. Didn't he? Isn't that his thing?
Great hair, great singer, and he's in the tantra.
Whatever that means. But what I was saying, Aaron, so other than Ryan Phillippe, I know when you saw him first in person, you tried to go and tell him how big of a fan you were. He gave you the cold shoulder. Is there anyone other than him that has really done that to you?
You got punked by Ryan Phillippe? That's tough.
When was that, AJ? You're just making
I think you were really hammered or something. It was sad. We tried not to remind you.
Well, I must have been because I don't remember that. there's been, in all the years of like some of the famous people and athletes I've met, there's been some weird interactions, but I think the only time I ever really got big time was in Tahoe by a tennis player. And I was on the putting green. I was obviously in the tournament, so I wasn't some scrub kind of walking around. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't a scrub at the time, being a backup and all that. But
you get it, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of got me and my caddy, who were fans of this American tennis player. He basically said, "Get the hell away from me."
Fucking McEnroe, dude.
God damn.
That dude is a maniac. He's just punking Aaron Rodgers and his caddy. Get out of here. Gotta sing some putts, little punk. What do you got, long hair? This ain't a Creed concert, pal. That's unbelievable that McEnroe did that to you.
Definitely wasn't McEnroe.
Serena Williams just punked Aaron Rodgers.
Who would have thought? Was it Marty Fish? Was it?
No, there's no way it was that guy. Was it Marty?
Marty's a buddy of mine. Other than being a hardcore Vikings fan, I really enjoy Marty.
Whenever you get up to that upper echelon of life, you know, and you're just up there, and like any human on earth is basically one call away, do you just try not to ruin that at all times? Like, I would assume that would be a problem for me. I'd be like, I can get a hold of who right now? Maybe we send a hello. How's it going? Like, is that... And who has shown up in your phone maybe that you did not expect, like a text message asking you for something? It was just like, holy hell, I cannot believe this is my life.
Well, I'm still waiting on Scott Stapp, so that would be a big time one. I'll just say that the other day I got a message on, I think it was Instagram. I was following this person, so they were able to direct message me. But I got a private message from Ric Flair.
Wow.
Obviously, it wasn't in my phone, but to get a message from Ric Flair was amazing. And I'll tell a quick story, just because he tried to tell a story on me a week ago. A long-time backup of mine, not like 3 years, Graham Harrell, former Texas Tech Red Raider, now the USC offensive coordinator, probably a future Division I head coach.
Congrats, Graham.
Love Graham. Had some really fun moments with him and Matt Flynn as one of my greatest quarterback rooms. Those guys are amazing. But Graham was a humongous WWF, WWE fan.
Let's go, Graham.
And he would watch it all. I mean, he would, every Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and everything that he could watch, he would watch. And a longtime fan. So we're in Carolina playing the Panthers. And I'm at dinner with a buddy of mine who from the Coast Guard who's stationed out there. And he's at dinner with Flynn. Randomly, we're just all at the same restaurant. And our old coach, Kevin Green, who, if you know Kevin Green, wild man, former Pittsburgh Steeler, former Carolina Panther, former WCW wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
And just a beauty of a human. He's having dinner at the same time with Ric Flair. So they're at one table. Flynn and Graham are at another table, and I'm at a third table. Just randomly, we're all there. Graham starts blowing my phone up. You have to introduce, take me over to the table. Take me to the table. And I'm like, just go over there. Kev, KG, just go walk over there and talk to him, right? And he's like, I can't. I need you got to go with me. He's only texting me, the entire dinner. I'm like, all right. I was like, okay, finishing up here, 5 minutes, we're over the table. So he's like eyeing me, like at the other table. I'm like, what is this guy? Just leave me alone. What's wrong with you? So finally, I'm like, okay, I'll take him over there. So we walk over the table. KG sees us. Hey, brother, what's up? You got to meet my good friend, Ric Flair. And I was like, hey, really nice to meet you. Been a fan. But this guy right here is a huge fan. I introduced Graham. And Graham clammed up like I've never seen anybody clam up.
Oh, can't happen. Can't happen, Graham.
I'm talking about paralyzed. He couldn't get a word out. There's no situations where, it's like you try to set your buddy up with a good-looking girl and you introduce him, and you have to do all the talking between them because he just can't get a word out. That's how it was. I'm literally he freezes, can't even shake his hand. And I'm like, Graham's, he's been a huge fan forever. He watches it, and I'm like, And then Graham, nothing. And Rick's like he's being very gracious, like, oh, that's great, it's great to meet you guys, and but and then stops. I'm like, yeah, Graham's, he kind of gets me going. He tells me what's going on every week, and we watch some of your old fights, and it's.
You're just prodding Graham.
I'm literally telling him like everything he's feeling, and he can't get a word out.
Oh man!
But then afterwards, he's like, "Oh, that was the greatest thing ever." I said, "What just happened to you? How did you just go mute?
Hey,
this is the greatest moment of your life, according to you, and you can't even get a word out?" Aaron,
on the phone right now, by the way, Ric Flair. Actually, Ric Flair. Ric Flair, I don't know if you know this. You made a man named Graham Harrell, who's former NFL quarterback, now the offense coordinator for the USC Trojans out there, absolutely clam up whenever you met him and Aaron Rodgers one night down in Carolina. I don't know if you remember that night, but that's the power of Ric Flair, and thanks for calling in, brother. No.
Not him.
Can he hear us?
Is it Graham
I hear us. That's actually Ric Flair, by the way. We actually have Ric Flair on, allegedly. I mean, it's windy day or wherever the hell he's at. No, dead.
He's there, though.
Can he hear us?
Is Ric Flair...
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hold on. Is Ric Flair clamming up because Aaron Rodgers? This is potentially what's happening there. Your new house in Malibu. No, I'm sorry. You got his big no. You made it. We got to hang up on him.
Yeah.
Got to hang up on him. I thought we were going to have a legitimize to the story right there, though. I thought we were going to have a legitimize to the story there. Has that ever happened to you? No? Just... Was it Andy Roddick, by the way?
I think we're moving on, I think.
Yeah. Boom! By the way, my list of tennis players is only so long. I went through it. Shout out to the YouTube comment section coming through in the big there.
I will say it was not Andy Roddick either.
Fuck. I just wasted all
the
the
question.
I was going to ask you, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars this weekend. Good luck, by the way. Start stacking these wins up. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
But I was really intrigued by this. So if you play a sport for a long time, very long time, and you become very wealthy and very successful, the continuing of playing the game has to be a love of the sport, right? I think we all agree that if you play, you have to have some sort of love of the game, right? You can't just be I'm here for the money guy, because once you get a certain amount of money, then you're automatically going to leave. If you continue to play, you have to love the sport. And I wanted to ask you this question because I think you're a very deep thinker. Like, why is football the greatest sport on earth? And do you think football is the greatest sport on earth? And why do you like football?
That's a really deep question there, Pat.
I know. I think I'd get a good answer out of you, though. Like, I think you'd be able to talk about it in a way that I think a lot of people haven't, because you've been at the pinnacle of it for so damn long and inside of it, and your brain is a pretty fantastic one. We've learned here over the last few weeks, obviously. Last few weeks, that's it. That's all the time we've learned that.
I think it's the greatest sport in the world for one main reason. It is a true team sport where it is damn near impossible for one person to dominate an entire game. And if you look at other team sports, basketball with 5 guys on the court, I think you've seen multiple players over the years. Maybe one player, maybe 1 or 2 players on a squad be able to dominate and win championships. Baseball, you can have a dominant pitcher and win championships. Soccer, you can have a dominant forward and or goalie. That seems to be a little more of a team sport, but you don't have 11 players engaged at the same time on every play. It is truly a sport reliant on every player on the field to do their job in order to be successful. And I think that's why at times, certain star players can get maybe too much credit and maybe too much blame on the flip side, because it does take so many players at the same time in 3 phases to win football games. And I think that's the beauty and the draw of our sport, is that something new happens all the time, because you are literally dealing with 11 humans on the field at one time who all have lives outside of football, and there's distractions. There's a reliance on coaching. There's a reliance on preparation. There's a reliance on diet and performance. I just think there's so many facets to it that you see something new every single week, and I think that's the beauty in our game. When it comes to the love that I have for it, it's rooted, and I think like any player who's played for a long time, the love is not just about our sport, it's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world, for me, that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. I think players who played for a long time at a high level, you have that need to be satiated competitively, and it's a love of going out there and going against guys and being in an environment where you know that nothing is guaranteed. And that's why I, at times, have taken umbrage to people saying that it's easy, because it's not easy. It's never easy. And I think that's the beauty in our game, is that you see things new every single week. It's never easy. And your only thing you're guaranteed is the ability to compete. I love that aspect of it. I love competing. I love going out there and harnessing the fear of failure, where I think so many people who maybe don't love football as much, the root of that is a deep fear of failure, that you might go out there and your best might not be good enough, and that's not okay with you.
Hey, Aaron, isn't that interesting, though, that they always say you can't have a fear of failure? Like, I'm scared to death of failure. It makes me do, like, more things. Like, it makes me work a little harder, I think. Like, I hate that old adage, like, you can't be scared of failure. You got to go try it. I'm like, I agree, you got to go try it, but you should have a little healthy fear of failure.
You 100% should have a fear of failure and a fear of your job.
Yeah.
I think you should find a way to harness that. And to harness that, in my opinion, and I've said this many times, is a redefinition of what success actually is. Because success is not winning all the time, because that is damn near impossible. Success is knowing that you've done everything in your power, from a preparation standpoint, from a focus standpoint, from a performance standpoint, to achieve a win or success. And that it won't happen every time. It definitely won't happen every time. And I think our society sometimes glorifies that winning is the only thing. I mean, our one of our longtime coaches said, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. And I don't want to, argue with the great Vince too much, but I think that is an unrealistic view, and often it can cripple people who view the opposite of winning as failure, and then will never put themselves in that arena again and be willing to lay it all on the line, knowing that it might not be good enough. And I think that is true success, and that's what every great competitor does. They're willing to put in everything they got, knowing that some days it might not be good enough.
Man. Aaron. Hey, that was awesome. I want to let you know, thank you for that. I think I just became a better human. I wish I would have heard it before I went into the NFL. Maybe my first couple years wouldn't be as bad. Maybe the end would have been great, but I appreciate you for that. Earlier, we had a call from a man who had a moment down in Charlotte where he was eating dinner with Kevin Green, former WCW superstar, and you and Graham Harrell had to go over there because Graham Harrell was begging you to introduce. You have a conversation with Ric Flair. Graham Harrell doesn't say a single damn word. Ric Flair is on. Rick, do you remember that night? And thanks for joining us, the greatest of all time.
He's on your computer right there. You have to cue him in.
We had him call into the...
We had to call him, yeah. Our phone line was acting up.
Oh, geez. Rick, are you there, pal?
Yeah, are you talking about me or Aaron?
You. Did Grant... Sorry, we had to figure this out tech-wise. Thank you for making this happen. Do you remember this night? Do you remember this night down in Charlotte?
Of course, I was with Kevin Green, and I asked Kevin, I said, I got to meet Aaron Rodgers, the man.
So he wanted to meet you, actually, Aaron. I don't know if you know that. Rick, what are you doing right now? Are you traveling right now?
I've just taken my steps on order to buy a new, what'd you buy, a Tesla?
Oh! Dealing! Hey, we appreciate...
I'm taking it in to pick up the car I bought. I wasn't sure what it was.
I didn't hear what it was, but goddamn, that was Ric Flair. Hey, that was awesome. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday with Ric Flair. Not a bad day. Hey, so he was telling Kevin Green the entire time. He was texting Kevin Green underneath, like, you have to go introduce me to Aaron Rodgers. That just feel pretty cool. I'll never experience that. Good for you, man. It's pretty awesome. Wow. Yeah. Awesome. It's pretty awesome.
And I think you might remember this. AJ would remember this. I believe it was in Carolina Age. You got to help me with this. But I feel like there was a huge intro in Carolina on the Jumbotron with Rick just going, woo! 20 times.
Yeah.
I think he did that for the Tennessee Titans. He did that for the Carolina Panthers. I think he did it for another team too throughout my career.
But it wasn't just loyalty to Carolina Panthers.
Well, when he did the Carolina one, I think he did like this is home, like an entire thing. But when I saw him at the Titans one, it was very similar, and I was like, wait a minute, Nashville, Charlotte. Before we let you go, and you're always so gracious with your time. You were a part of a massive NFL Films video that was tribute to Alex Trebek, the greatest game show host in the history of game show hosts, passed away suddenly Sunday morning. Any thoughts on your chance getting to hang out with him, meet him, and obviously his passing?
Yeah, I was super bummed out to hear about it. Anyone who knows me well knows that 6 p.m. on weekdays is about watching Jeopardy. That's the time it's on in Green Bay. As opposed to other places, it's on before Wheel of Fortune. And if I'm not watching it, it's taped. And that's just kind of been a standard. I have a lot of nostalgia. It's one of those nostalgic voices of my childhood. And I was telling a coach the other day, it's Pat Summeralls and John Maddens and Frank, Al, and Dan from Monday Night Football, Bob Barker, and Alex Trebek. Those are some of the voices of my childhood, and I've attached so many memories over the years to those moments, whether it's watching, the Fox game of the week with Pat and John, and then getting to meet John years later in a production meeting was amazing, and Frank, Al, and Dan, Monday Night Football. I mean, that's just, it's a part of, it's so ingrained in Americana and my story as a young person and my love affair with sports, and being sick from school, but being able to watch The Price is Right at 10 o'clock in the morning, and Bob Barker.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's just special moments. And Alex Trebek, being on a week, as we do in the summer at my grandparents' house, and every weeknight we watch Jeopardy. And that was when I got my start, and continue to watch it, throughout high school and college, and then had a random opportunity to go on Celebrity Jeopardy in 2015 and jumped at it. No doubt about it. I want to do it. And getting to meet him, it was one of the few moments in life I've been starstruck, just because I have so many nostalgic attachments to him. And it's just, he's had a meaningful part in my life because it was a connection point for me and family members, just a fun trivia thing to do all the time growing up. And then just kind of a daily routine for me living in Green Bay as a young person, and having a lot of time to myself, especially in the off seasons, being out here. So really sad to see that. Really thankful I got to meet him. Thankful I got to be on the show. Winning the show was a secondary gift to getting a chance to meet him, and he was as enjoyable and kind and present as you would have hoped and dreamed. Really sad to hear about the diagnosis, knowing what pancreatic cancer the survival rates are, but was really hopeful and sending my best prayers and energy his way. And again, just sad, as so many people are, because I think for us in America, he's been, and like Pat Sajak and Vanna White and Bob Barker and some of these hosts, just a really special part of our daily lives. Like, you felt like you knew him because he'd come into your living room or kitchen or dining room table every day. And sad to see his passing.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said there. I think we all echo that sentiment, not being able to go on there. But you spend more time with Trebek than almost anybody on earth whenever you watch it every single night. I'm also a Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy watcher. So every night in Indy, it's Sajak and Vanna, then goes into Trebek to close out the hour. But I spend every single day with them there for a long time. It's like, oh, these people are just part of my crew, which I think a lot of people view our show, which is an honor, but Trebek was the man. And when you got on that show, you dusted folks. I mean, it was an ass beating on there. It was fun to watch because normally, by the way, sports people, we're the dumb ones. So having you go out there and dominate was a thing of beauty.
They got to release the footage of the practice game we did before that at some point.
What'd you do? You did even better.
That was a serious ass whooping. And let me just end with this story, and then I got to go. But we got to the set, And it was me and Mark Kelly, astronaut, now senator, and Mr. Wonderful. And I've never told this story before, also, which is fun to tell these on your show.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot.
In the back of the green room, there wasn't a lot of trash talk, except for Mr. Wonderful. Not necessarily him, but his wife. His wife was talking about how he had the advantage on the show because he's on TV all the time.
Oh, wow.
That was her justification.
Wow. So
we go out to the practice game, and I mean, I smoked him.
See ya, pal.
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful was in the minus, just like he was in the regular game.
Oh, no deal, Paul.
Hadn't met Trebek or anything yet. And they'd ask, like, are you a fan of the show? I said, yeah, I watch it a lot. So I knew the rules and the timing and everything. And Mark had a pretty good game, but I was well ahead.
Yeah.
And so we came back in the green room in the in-between. So now we finished the practice game. And now we're, going to take a little break. They're resetting. And then Alex is going to come out for the real game. He comes before he even comes into the room, when I walk back in the room, it's real quiet. Real quiet. Everybody who was feeling a little confident maybe before that got a little bit quiet. That was a fun day though.
How's that feel? Hey, there it is, by the way. That is a real fist there. Mr. Wonderful had no idea. You did have a great outfit on, obviously.
I got to quit. Yeah. Pat, can I ask that? Are you being ironic? I hope you're being ironic there with the outfit, right? Like, that's not, are you serious? Or
that was, I was coming out of, some dietary choices I had made. My face was a lot fuller.
Oh yeah, I know.
It was, some would say, a friend of mine, Tim, would say that was kind of my fat stage.
Oh, smart though.
But he's a big body shamer with me. He saw me at my fattest. After I broke my foot, I weighed like 245 in the off season.
Oh yeah, that's
probably more than AJ played most of his years. Yeah, that really actually spurred me on to make some better healthy choices after seeing myself.
Oh, that's a bad photo there, Evan. That's very rude of Evan to put that photo up. Hey, we appreciate you, man. What do you got today? Anything?
I got a big day, man. Just some preparation. It's raining outside, so I'll be indoors probably the rest of the day.
50 degrees and rain this weekend. Good luck, pal, dealing with the elements.
Thank you, buddy.
No problem, pulling for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeopardy champion, Aaron Rodgers. All right, we got to get to a break there. That was awesome. We talked about a lot there. Ric Flair. Ric Flair called in twice. We really did have him first. I don't know what happened. Probably something in his sound and my sound. His connection wasn't that great. Then he popped in whenever Aaron's giving a great answer there. You know who Pat McAfee is. I was like, oh my God. Get that out of there. We're getting a really good answer here. He went into like what it takes to be successful.
Yeah.
It was a good answer.
Listen to that every morning.
Yeah, I think you should. People on the internet try to build cults around speeches like that.
That's right. That's exactly right.